Good morning. We are now up to chapter 9. This chapter is called Festering. Ugh, what a nasty little wrench, was Nanny's verdict. Oh, she was just hungry, reasoned Alfred. Ugh, she's a thief, young man, and thieves like her belong in the tower. The prince wasn't so sure. She was an only child, like him, and she was hungry. It wasn't right that people of Britain lived like that. Now, my little prince, we need to get you back to your bedroom. Alfred didn't want to go back. Being in his bedroom was boring, and he had detective work to do. Not now, Nanny. Yes, now. The question is, how? Alfred peered around the room of junk and spotted a bicycle. Could I bicycle back? Nanny did not look convinced. Do you know how to ride a bike? No. Well, I would say no then. Not really time for lessons right now. No. The pair fell silent for a moment before the old lady exclaimed, Oh, Nanny has an idea, and it's a goodie. Oh, what? Hide in that old pram. The pram? Now it was Alfred's turn to look unconvinced. Yes. I'm not getting into that pram. You never used to complain. That was when I was a little baby. What use is the pram anyway? Well, I can pretend I'm using it to wheel some clean blankets up to your bedroom. At this late hour? I'll just say you've wet the bed. Alfred was not impressed. He hadn't wet the bed for, well, a long time. He peered into the pram and it was full of festering old blankets that must have been damp for decades. Now they had things growing on them, and the things growing on them had things growing on them, and the things growing on them had things growing on them too. In there? He asked. Yes, in there. You mean actually inside the pram? Yes, of course inside, you great nit. But it stinks. Stinky is better than dead. Now come on, climb in. In truth, the smell was rank, which was way higher up in the stinky scale than stinky. The old lady smiled, an expectant smile. Alfred sighed, and with real difficulty, he clambered into the pram. It was so tight that his knees were wedged up under his chin. What's more, it was even pongadicious than he had first thought. The smell was positively medieval, which may have been the era when those blankets had last been washed. I'm in, said Alfred, covering his mouth for fear he might barf. Oh, I'd better cover you up, said Nanny, pulling a musty old blanket over his head. Now he really felt like he was about to barf. So, Alfred, remember not to sneeze, cough, or you know what, ordered Nanny. No, I don't know what. Bottom burp. Oh, yes. Or you'll give that game away. Ready, my little prince? No, he replied, pulling the cover back. Cooed Nanny. You look like you did when you were a baby. Alfred didn't find that the least bit amusing. The Lord Protector, he remembered. He locked my bedroom door from the outside. We won't be able to get in. Oh, don't you worry. Nanny always carries a spare key, she said, fishing it out of her cardigan pocket. Clever Nanny. Now, come on, little baby. Back to sleep, she snorted herself, her teeth going clickety-clack in her mouth. In a grump now, Alfred pulled the revolting blanket back over his head. And as soon as he had, the old lady wheeled the pram to the correct spot of the floor in the junk room. She turned her hand on the carriage clock anti-clockwise, and the pair spun around into the library. So it was quite a short chapter, isn't it? Chapter 10 is called Mental Menace. Looking up from the pram, Alfred asked, What book was that person you were looking for at this late hour? Oh, I don't have a clue, replied Nanny. No, you were looking for a book here in the library too. Was I? Yes, what was the name of it? Shh, shushed Nanny, or someone will hear us. With that, she wheeled the pram out of the library and down one of the palace's long, sweeping corridors. The wonky wheel made it difficult to steer. Squeak, 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 and Nanny kept on bashing the pram into the wall. Bonk. Ow, complained the boy. Shh, shushed Nanny again, louder this time. The shush was so loud it was hardly a shush at all. Squeak, 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 and then bashed the pram into the wall again. Bonk, squeak, 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 and again, bonk. At this rate, he would be lucky to get back to his bedroom alive. Next, he heard the sound of something trundling. Oh no, he thought, not the Octobot. That's the last thing they need right now. Good morning, Archbishop, the robot announced. Oh, will you be quiet, you blasted thing? Hissed Nanny. I have warmed your socks, so they are nice and toasty. The boy thought he could smell burning. Oh, out of my way, you mental menace, said the old lady. Crash. Next, Alfred could feel the wheels of the pram bump over something. Clank. Something metal. He looked past Nanny and saw that the accident-prone robot had lost yet another one of his arms. The one with a little spoon attached for stirring tea was now lying twitching on the floor. Twitch, twitch, twitch. I will post your boiled eggs onto you, it called out after them. Shh, shushed Nanny before pushing the prince's head back into the pram. Get down! As he was wheeled around the palace, Alfred listened intently. He was trying to work out from the sounds around him where exactly he was. All of a sudden, he could feel the pram being heaved up a sweeping staircase that led all the way from the bottom of the palace to the top. Oh, Nanny, there must be hundreds of stairs, he protested. Shh, she hushed. Someone might hear you. Oh, we're never going to make it. I said shh. Shunt, shunt, shunt. Nanny, I'm scared you're going to let go. I will let go if you don't shut up. Shunt, shunt, shunt. Now, they were halfway up the staircase and all of a sudden Alfred heard a voice. Nanny? Said the voice. Not just any voice, it was the Lord Protector's voice. Right, that was chapter 10. Chapter 11 is called An Ungodly Hour. Oh, Nanny, whatever are you doing out of your room at such an ungodly hour? Purred the Lord Protector. Oh, just bringing up some clean blankets, sir, the old lady replied. Inside the pram, Alfred kept dead still. He could hear the voice that Nanny was so nervous. Her false teeth were clickety-clacking in her mouth, even more than normal. Oh, who are you talking to? Demanded the Lord Protector. Oh, myself, she chirped. I'm a bit balmy like that. Now I must be going. Oh, wait, called the old man. Whatever have you got in that pram? Alfred didn't dare breathe. Oh, fresh blankets, she replied. The Lord Protector caught up with her, then leaned down and sniffed. Ugh, they don't smell fresh, was his verdict. Well, Nanny hesitated for a moment, buying herself some time. They're fresher than the ones I'm changing them for. Oh, well, I find that difficult to believe. Oh, yes, Lord Protector, sir. Yes, it's for the prince. What's the prince? He, how can I put this nicely? He wet the bed. Inside the pram, the prince was seething. At his age? Asked the Lord Protector. Well, it's been a very difficult time for him, with that terrible business about the Queen. Oh, yes, mused the Lord Protector. What rotten luck to have a traitor of a mother. Alfred wanted to leap out the pram and biff the man on the nose, but he stayed put. The truth was he was stuck. I've taken the precaution of putting the palace on total lockdown tonight, continued the Lord Protector. No one is allowed out of bed, not even the king himself. So, as soon as you have changed those blankets, I want you straight back into your quarters. Do you understand me? Oh, yes, sir. Good. For his own safety, I have locked the boy's bedroom door. Here is the key. When you have locked him in for the night, bring it straight back to me. Yes, sir. Now run along, woman, he ordered. Very good, sir. Alfred listened to the Lord Protector's footstep echo down the stairs. Oh, that was close, hissed the boy from inside the pram. I know, whispered Nanny. Never mind about what you doing a bottom burp. I was so nervous, I thought I was going to let one rip that sounded like thunder. Ugh, too much information, Nanny. A honking hurricane. Again, Nanny, too much. A Trump tornado. I got it, Nanny. A bottom blizzard? Got it. Now let's get going. Oh, yes. And with that, Nanny continued heaving the pram up the staircase. Shunt, 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 shunt. He could hear the old lady breathing heavily. Are you all right, Nanny? Asked Alfred, poking his head out from under the blankets. Yes, just need to take a rest. The boy watched as her nose began to wrinkle. Are you okay? Oh, it's the rotten blankets. I think I'm going to... Achoo! Sneeze. She lifted her hands up to her face to let go of the pram. Nanny! Cried the boy, and the pram began bouncing down the staircase. Donk, 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 donk. That's the end of chapter 11. Chapter 12 is called Runaway Pram. Hope you're okay. Keep sending me your work, guys. They're really, really good. I'm really enjoying it this week. If you have any problems or any questions about the work, please email me. You should all know my email by now. It's Howell, extra L, 54 @hubcymru.net.